am Tina Divine. I am the owner and broker of record of Divine Real Estate. Welcome to my channel. And in this video, I will be talking with one of my clients, Curtis Miller, who's also a YouTuber. His YouTube channel is called Wealth and Fitness Lifestyle. And in this video, we will be discussing his home buying process, from the beginning to end, how he prepared himself financially to purchase a home, how he made up his mind to move from Brooklyn to Jersey, and the benefits and some of the challenges to not only being a homeowner, but also a landlord. So let's get started. Hi, Curtis, and thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. In this video, I wanted to kind of talk to you about your journey and purchasing your first home, how things are going, and where you are right now and where you want to be in the future.
Sure. Thank you, Tina, for having me on your platform. Really appreciate it. For those who don't know, when I first ventured off to start looking at property in Jersey City, Tina Divine actually showed me about 30 to 40 different properties before I made my choice. So thank you, Tina, for helping me purchase my first multifamily home. And I'm glad to be on your platform today.
Thank you. Thank you. That's actually one of the things that I wanted to talk about is really your journey, especially as a first time buyer and also as a buyer from Brooklyn and New Jersey, because that's happening a lot right now. And I know that there are a lot of other buyers in your age bracket, millennials.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are probably the number one buyer right now in the market. What was your main reason for buying a house? Like, I know that there are a lot of people watching right now who are sitting on a fence, who are thinking about
Mm-hmm.
buying. What got you off the fence and made your mind up to actually say, I'm going to definitely buy a house?
I always wanted to be a homeowner, but what really kind of helped me is about maybe 2015. I remember being on YouTube and I remember watching this video from Jay Morrison. I don't know if a lot of you guys know who Jay Morrison is, but Jay Morrison is a real estate guru. And he had this video on YouTube that really simplified the home buying process and basically told you how to start credit, how to establish your credit, and how to leverage that and utilize that to become a first time homeowners buyer. And I said, wow, like this sounds mad easy. Like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that I could become a landlord? I could actually purchase a home, have a tenant, and utilize the rental income to be able to help pay my mortgage or make a profit. So I thought that the kind of like the way that he set it up and the way he kind of explained it was like so simplified that I said, I can do this. And so I remember one of my best friends who we actually purchased houses around the corner from each other in Jersey City, and we actually grew up on the same block in Brooklyn. I remember him, talking about how he's looking for property, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And then he said, Kurt, I'm closing on a house in Jersey City. I want you to come out and see it. And I came out with him. I took the ride out to Jersey City, and we just started looking at, different houses. And I saw his house, and I just saw the potential of Jersey City. Then in 2015, I said, yo, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get my finances in order. I said, I'm going to, stick to the plan. And, I have my best friend as a person that could kind of give me some guidance and coaching in terms of the process. So I say, you know what, I'm going to do this. And that's when I made the decision. And then in September 9th, 2016 is when I closed on the property here.
Okay. So when you say you looked into getting your finances in order, what were the steps that you took to actually get yourself home buying ready? Did you start with your credit? Did you look at savings? What were the steps to getting yourself totally ready to purchase your first home?
So from that time period from 2015, 2016 was about a 9-month time period where I looked at my debt. I looked at my credit score in terms of increasing my credit score. So in that 9-month period, I made sure that I paid off any old outstanding credit card debt, which kind of skyrocketed my credit score. And I looked at I started saving a lot of money, a lot of my income. So I started living below my means. I started living on less than what I make. And I just became a saving. I became addicted to saving money. And once I had the credit score, and then once I had because I wanted to save a certain amount for my down payment and make sure that I have that, right? And with the whole first-time homeowners buyers, you could be able to put down at least 3.5% of what the value of the home is. And I wanted to make sure I at least had about 20 grand, 20 to 25 grand, for that down payment and for closing costs.
Okay.
So it took me about 9 months, and this was aggressiveness on my part. This was me, you know, not hanging out, not going out. That was saving every penny that I have. And also, too, I started, having some side hustles and things that I was doing on the side where I was just saving aggressively. And it took me to that 9 month point where I was able to apply for get a pre-approval for to be able to start looking at properties. And that kind of told me, okay, the mortgage company at that time said you're pre-approved for this amount based upon my debt to income ratio, based upon my financial snapshot.
Hmm.
So then I was able to kind of begin the process, which took probably like another 5 to 6 months.
Okay. So really, it took you about a year.
Yeah, it took me about a year.
Okay, and that was aggressive.
Very, very aggressive.
That
Very,
was
very aggressive. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, like, and part of my channel with Wealth and Fitness Lifestyles, I talk a lot about, having an emergency fund and saving money. One of my slogans is save money to invest money to make more money. And you have to do that. You have to not just save your money just to have it, but you have to make investments. And one of the best investments that you can make is in real estate. And this was the perfect opportunity for me to leverage that to get my feet wet and just get a deeper understanding of the real estate game, how it works. Because I said to myself, you got to be fearless going into this. You have to just take a risk, and I took a risk. And I learned so much, in this journey, learned so much in that process. Now I'm able to teach others and duplicate the process to be able to, purchase more properties.
hmm Now, as far as the home buying process, one of the things that I like to do on my channel is to educate individuals who may have questions, who may not know where to start, or may not have anyone that they can go to for answers. In your home buying journey, like one of the things you said in the beginning was that we looked at about 30 houses.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we were looking at houses, I remember that we did see a lot of houses. We submitted offers weren't accepted, and then we just
Right.
kept going and kept going until we actually found something. And I think for a lot of first time home buyers, they underestimate the 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 time that it takes to actually go out and look at homes and find something that they actually like. With your home buying journey, what do you think was the most difficult part, and what was the scariest part of the process?
I think that one of the most difficult parts was when we was in the snow in the winter time looking at no, I'm joking. That's a true story. We was looking at properties in the snow. I
Right.
think the most difficult part is that, especially when you're looking at buying a multi-family home,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of properties that we looked at already had tenants in the properties,
Right.
and a lot of homes didn't come already vacant. And so, I had to make a tough decision to, if I'm going to purchase a multifamily home, more than likely that I was going to inherit the tenants and not actually choose the tenants, if I had a vacant property. And, one of the toughest, and I guess scariest, not scary, but just the toughest things you have to cope with and deal with is, tenants that, you inherited because, they weren't hand selected by you as the landlord or the owner. And some of them are set in their ways, and depending upon the previous landlord before me, how he dealt business with the tenants can, set the precedent and dictate, the relationship going forward. Fortunately, I had, inherited tenants who, we had some ups and downs and challenges, but one thing that we do is respect each other. As I respect them as my tenants, they respect me as the landlord. And I make sure I go above and beyond to make sure that they have a adequate living space, and they make sure they go above and beyond to be able to, pay the rent on time and to, take care of the living space.
Okay. And talking about tenants, how has it been being a landlord? Like, is that because I think that sometimes people underestimate the responsibility that it takes to be a landlord. Like I often tell my buyers that being a landlord is like having another job because you
Oh
have
yeah.
extra responsibility for this. And usually in our area, we have houses that have families. Most of the people
Right.
living there have kids, and it's multiple adults living in an apartment, so you have to deal with multiple people, multiple attitudes, and sometimes it's not always going to be a seamless connection. So
Mhm.
how has it been being a landlord? Because now it's been 4 years.
Right, it's been
So
four
how
years.
has your experience been as a landlord?
Something I want to get across to your audience is understanding, you know, it costs to be the boss. And when you are a landlord, you have to treat your property as a business. It's a business.
Yeah.
And just like, if you have a 9 to 5 job and your job pays you every 2 weeks, but you have to fulfill certain things to be able to get paid, it's the same thing as, your tenants paying you, every month. There are things that also too, in terms of responsibility as a landlord, that you have to be able to provide, and make sure that your tenants do have an adequate living space. And it is a business. I treat it like a business. In fact, my house is in my business name, Aiden and Noah Holdings LLC, which is named after my two sons. And I treat it as a business.
Right.
And what you got to realize in being a landlord is that anything that happens to that property, you are responsible for. That's why I would employ anyone who's purchasing a home for the first time. Not only save up money to have your down payment, your closing costs, and all of that stuff, but you need to have money on the side for your emergency fund. Because I'm going to tell you, being a homeowner, something's going to happen in your property. It's inevitable. A staircase might collapse. The boiler may not stop working. You may have squirrels in your walls. True story. I had squirrels in my
Taxes,
tenant's
your
walls too.
taxes may go up also.
Yep. Right.
Property.
And your taxes go up too, which means your mortgage is going to go up.
Yep.
So I would employ anyone who's purchasing a home. Make sure you set aside a couple of $1,000 for in case things happen, because they will. I mean, literally, in the last, since I own this property, I had different contractors came in to fix things and upgrades and things like that. So you treat your property as a business. And there's three things I would say in terms of your tenants, right? You got to treat them like people. You as a landlord want to set the precedent of establishing that boundaries, because sometimes you could have tenants that are overly friendly, and you could build a relationship and a rapport, but you still have to maintain, and they have to understand and respect you as the landlord at the end of the day. They may feel like they have a rapport with you, so they could be late a couple of times and pay half now, half later. No, you don't want to do that. You want to set the precedent and the tone from the beginning, and the structure of this is how things are going to go. And in the same token, you have to fulfill your obligations and responsibilities as a landlord.
Right. Right. Because you never want to mix business with personal.
Right.
And when it comes to tenants, like you said, they can become friendly, and then before you know it, you're not getting your rent, and because of the relationship, you may not feel comfortable going to your tenants and asking them for money, or going through the eviction process, which is a part of being a landlord.
Right.
um Last but not least, what advice would you have for any first time buyer or anyone who's thinking about buying right now?
I would say, my advice to you would be, don't be nervous, and don't get scared by, the whole process, because it's a long process. You gotta, get pre-approved. You have to look for a property, and you have to put in an offer. Then you got to go through attorney review. Then you got to go to underwriting, which could be a long process depending upon your current finances, and then going through the whole closing process. I would say enjoy the journey through that whole process. Learn that process so you could be able to teach the next person the steps that it takes. Because I think that one thing that's missing, especially in our community, is that educational component of teaching others how to do things. Because a lot of people, especially in the inner cities, may not even know that they could purchase a home. I didn't know until I saw that Jay Morrison video that I can actually be a homeowner. Fortunately, I had to move from New York City to New Jersey because that's what I can afford at the time. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same token, if that information is not shared, if we don't have people like us, that's a replica of our community, being able to teach them how simple it can be, because it's not a hard process. It's a quite simple process. You just have to go through the process, and you're gonna have ups and downs during the process. But I'll tell you, it will feel good when you're, at the end of the day, when you're at that table and you're signing those thousand sheets of
Fact.
paper,
That's
and
fact.
you give up your money, you got to give up your, your signature. All you get is keys, and everybody else get paid. But it's a feel good process when you come into your property for the first time and you look at it and you say, wow, this has potential. And the other thing I would say is that your first home that you buy may not be your dream home, because the first property that I purchased was not my dream home.
Right.
But a home is what you make it. And if once you put some repairs in there, you fix things up, you change things around, you can actually see, how much potential a property can have. So just because a house is not, have the most up-to-date appliances and might have the up-to-date, the way it looks, that doesn't mean that you couldn't make it that way. Because I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people, what they do is they'll fix up homes. You see a home, you be like, I would never buy that. Fix it up, you're like, oh snap, like I want to live in there. So oh, sometimes when you look at properties, you also got to look at the potential of that property.
Yeah, I usually tell my buyers, especially first time buyers, that your first house, first of all, your first home, you usually stay there between 5 and 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
People, when they buy their first home, they think, oh, I'm stuck in this 30-year mortgage. But the truth of the matter is, most people stay in a home between 5 and 7 years. But you also, like you said earlier, you have to look at it as a business, and you can't look at it as just, this is my home, and this is my forever home, but this is a business that I'm purchasing, and this is something that can ultimately pay me a reward at the end.
Right.
Well, thank you. That's all the questions that I have for today. And I just want to say thank you again. And to anybody watching, definitely check out his channel, The Wealth and Fitness. I will have the link below.
Yeah, let me just tell your audience real quick. Wealth and Fitness Lifestyles. You can catch me on YouTube. I'm actually on 2 journeys in my life. I'm on my health and fitness journey, where I'm going on a whole total body transformation. I started 4 months into my workout and body transformation. I lost 37 pounds so far.
Wow.
And I'm looking to, lose more. I'm also on my financial freedom, and on my channel and my platform, I talk about different aspects of finances, how to improve your financial situation. You can also catch me on Instagram at Mr. Curtis Miller. And, I have some workout videos and also just, day-to-day interactions as it relates to wealth and fitness. So, when you guys get a chance, make sure you hit the link in the description, and also to subscribe to the channel to get future content regarding wealth and fitness.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I showed my son your channel. He loved it.
Oh, yeah?
He's 16. He was like, oh, he got some good content. I like his content. I was like, to his channel. So
yeah, tell him to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment.
Yeah.
I got a lot of different things and topics I talk about. I have almost 100 videos on my YouTube channel. And I think that, being 4 months on YouTube, I'm actually improving. And I see your channel too, Tina, all the information that you share on your platform and stuff like that. So, to your viewers and everybody that's listening to this information, reach out to Tina Divine, in regarding, real estate. And, if you're trying to look for a property in Hudson County, Bergen County, you're all over, right?
County, Hudson, Essex, Union, pretty much.
I mean, this woman is a hardworking woman. I mean, I had this woman in blizzards showing me properties in the snow, and our hands are freezing cold. I don't know if you remember that.
Those lock boxes, trying to get inside all those properties.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. We had some horror stories too, looking at properties and people getting really upset that we're trying to buy their house. So
it's a journey. It's a journey. One of the things, like, I think a lot of people underestimate when it comes to the home buying process is that search. Because we look through multiple seasons. Like,
yeah,
you go from winter into spring into summer. You look for a house through multiple seasons before you can actually find that one that you like and that they accept your offer. So
right, because I remember we started February 2016. I didn't purchase that property till September. And from February, and I think the property that I purchased, I think they accepted it like June. Right. And it took that 2 months, till September to,
someone else's offer first.
Yeah, they accepted somebody else's offer.
That person couldn't close the deal, and then they came back to us.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot for a buyer, but it's definitely worth it.
Definitely. And Tina's going to help me buy a couple of more properties too. We're going to talk offline after this video about that. Yeah.